Ladies and gentlemen, to the 2015 Spring North American Challenger Series. I'm David Frigturley, alongside the man that is proud to be North American, I presume, Aiden Zyrene Moon. Ready for some NA Challenger?
Yep, proud to be an American, especially after that segment you did on PTL.
Yeah, because we are way better than EU. The 2015 Spring Challenger Series continues as TDK takes on TSM Darkness in tonight's first match. Then, Enemy Esports look to continue their perfect record in the Challenger Series against Team Fusion. And we will wrap up today's broadcast with CLG Black going up against Final 5.
And here's a look at where these teams stand at the start of tonight's action. Enemy Esports has sole possession of first place with a perfect 3-0 record. After that, CLG Black is in second at 2-1. Then everyone else, Final 5, TDK, Team Fusion, and TSM Darkness are all knotted up in third place.
Of course, as you can see, the Challenger Series, we have 3 games in the book so far. Tonight we're going to end with 4 games for everyone, but it's a 5-week, 10-game round robin where the teams play each other twice. That's why we're seeing Game 2 on the air today, but it also means after today, we're 40% of the way through the season. Here's what happened last night when TSM Darkness faced off with TDK.
And both teams actually drafted themselves pretty good compositions here. You look over at the composition that TSM Darkness had drafted. They have a frontliner here, Arc second in the mid lane with that damage, but the big thing is TDK's comp. Last week they had a Vladimir. This week they have a poke comp.
Yeah.
Crazy across the board here. They gave AP poke and AD poke. Kyle got his Jace.
And that's gigantic. And not only that, they had Seraph actually get a really good counter pick where this team has no tank busting with Kalista, and so they grabbed Dr. Mundo, who could be pretty much untouchable throughout this entire game. It was pretty great. So let's actually get ourselves into the game and just see how those comps played out. Being that we do have a lot of poke teams, it's going to be a while till we have a lot of kills, but right here, Zingy goes in, and there's just no follow-up.
And you can see it's 19 minutes in before this first big fight happens. Kyle comes in from the side and starts playing cleanup duty here with Seraph in the middle. When you have this composition from TSM Darkness, you don't have the damage to really take out a Mundo, and you see it here. Kyle with a great shock blast and a not-so-great flash there from Teaser.
So Seraph gets to chase people down. Arc second trying to run away from Mundo. By the way, Seraph was like at 800 earlier in this fight. Now he's above 2,000 and tower diving. It seems not even in range yet, and Seraph just does not care whatsoever. Summon heal gets burned, flash gets burned, doesn't even care.
Nope, full honey badger this game for Seraph. Right here though, the wave gets cleared right as that hook comes out onto Kyle, and it pulls him in. They end up picking him up in this fight, and then Louis, kiting backwards, ends up getting himself a double kill here. Actually, Teaser ends up getting himself a double kill, sorry, swapped 80 carries. But this, they try to take out Seraph, but once again, he's too tanky for this kind of sustained damage lineup that's kind of just front-loaded, and then they stop.
They don't do much else afterwards, but again, 0 deaths still on Seraph means he gets to walk around in teamfights, do whatever he wants.
Yeah, there's a new Seraph in town, and he's coming in from the back here. You see, they can't do anything against him. He is just cleaning up. Kez on this Nidalee is something very new as well. He's usually a type of supportive jungler, very controlled, and on something as aggressive as Nidalee, it's great to see him play that champion.
Yeah, 2-1-8, keep the backline alive, gives Caitlyn some attack speed, why the heck not, and poke in. So that all tended to work out, but Seraph having an incredibly good game overall. Dragon 5 now for the last team fight. Why not just close the game out, TDK?
Yeah, and right here, you're going to see Louis off on the side actually double crits and headshots Teaser to take him immediately out of the fight at the start.
At that point, it's cleanup. I mean, TDK just had such a very good start to the game, and there's not a lot of comeback tools for TSM Darkness. They can poke and wave clear, but when you get to 5 dragons, you just gotta walk in and Mundo ignores your entire team.
He ignored turrets, too. You couldn't even tell a turret was on him. Nexus turrets as well through that regen. You can see Seraph having a great scoreline that game. 16 KDA, or I guess undefined.
Whichever. We say 16 here in the LCS,
yes, we
the
do.
Challenger Series.
We do. Because that was just divided by 1. If he dies again, doesn't cut it in half at all. But still. Great CS there from Louis. He's a guy who had to step up as well. Because Louis wasn't having the greatest of times in his games. He was losing lane pretty hard. And when you're playing Kalista into that Caitlyn, you do have some range disparity. Sorry, Caitlyn into the Kalista, you have a good matchup for yourself. You should. The range disparity.
And just auto-attacking is generally what's good against Kalista. And hey, they had a pretty good game. So that was a very big win for TDK. They were dead last at the start of the week, but now they have 1 win on the board. So do 3 other teams in the Challenger Series. That puts them in a 4-way tie for 3rd, which gives them really good control over their destiny.
I'm glad that everything's kind of shaping up that way, too, because everybody is very close to beating everybody else. So it's very interesting. Nobody's at the bottom of the pack right now. Actually, there's a lot of people at the bottom of the pack. They're all just tied for it, right? But TDK, last week, they did look like the bottom of the pack. They ended up 0-2. They got their win yesterday, but a lot of that was off of them picking a really good composition and playing to it, not being too aggressive with the poke comp and out-poking the other poke siege comp.
Well, yeah, that was the interesting thing, actually. I got to talk to Smoothie about 3 minutes ago before the game, and he said, yeah, we didn't actually do pick and ban before the match last week. We did it when we got into the lobby, so we got really confused. I also asked, why didn't you pick Jace when he was available last Wednesday? And he's like, I don't know. Yeah. I think we shoulda. And hey, they picked Jason once. So that's a good start. Maybe you'll start seeing that champion get banned away from Kyle.
Yeah, I would really hope to see that banned away from Kyle on a consistent basis. But some teams don't learn their lesson.
Nope.
And even TDK, they were really surprised that they keep getting it. So we'll have to see how that shapes up.
We'll see if we get more Jace.
Swapping over to the other side, though. Team SoloMid Darkness, they actually exceeded expectations. They weren't supposed to be here. They got O2'd by Cloud9. And then that whole thing happened where they ended up making it in off of that. So they took a win right off the bat last week.
They beat CLG Black.
Which was unexpected, but this team is very jungle-oriented. They really rely on a Zingy, but he's kind of easy to ban out.
Yeah, in a way, right? His pool's very odd. He seems to default to Pantheon a bit more than I feel like junglers should. He's been favoring Jarvan, but yeah, very inconsistent performances from Azingi. He went 0-6-5 on Jarvan yesterday, even though the Fiddlesticks you talked about, these champions he plays, was available for him.
Yeah, the Fiddlesticks was not banned, and he didn't go for it, but it didn't fit the composition that they were trying to go for if he had gone for the Fiddlesticks, because like Fiddlesticks with a Xerath is kind of counterintuitive.
The thing is, I feel like that is a team where once you get through the 3 bans, if Fiddlesticks is up, you should play the Fiddlesticks
comp. You should take it and then go around that.
To me, that makes the most sense for TSM Darkness to actually play around really big strengths the team has and say, hey, if we get this, then we should play a comp.
But a really big strength for them as well is their mid laner Arc second. He's 14, 3, and 13 over 3 games, and 2 of those games are losses. So he has 3 deaths in 3 games. Really, really consistent player here. Loves the control mages like Xerath, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go back on that today.
Yeah, he's definitely a really good player for TSM Darkness, and I think if they are going to make a surge in the standings, they need to beat teams that are, I would say, underperforming a little bit. Like TDK, it's a team I think these guys would have to beat up. Keep in mind, at the end of the season, or the end of the split, I should say, the bottom 2 from Challenger are placed back into the qualifiers. They don't have a spot secured whatsoever, so you have a chance for like 33% turnover in Challenger overall.
Yeah, top 4 make it to playoffs. Bottom 2 have to go back, and the top 4, whoever makes it to playoffs,
one of those guys goes to LCS,
right? Yeah. So a lot of just making it to playoffs is really big.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, as long as you make top 4, you're guaranteed to stay into the split. And heck, one of those guys is going to join the LCS next split. So we'll see which of these teams are. But we are into Champion Select, everybody. Vi dropped away from a Zingy. It's still not a Fiddlesticks.
It's still not a Fiddlesticks. We're still waiting for it. Week 2, day 2. Waiting on the Fiddlesticks from a Zingy. Don't know when it'll come out, though. But they usually, when you play against TSM Darkness, and what we've been seeing as a trend, is at least 2 jungle bans.
That's true. It does seem like that player looks attackable. There's the Pantheon ban as well. Again, 2 jungle bans. This says maybe they first pick Jarvan because that's still up and a big champion for Azingi. At the same time, Kyle does not get Zed. He is a good assassin player. Lissandra, neither for Seraph nor Kyle as well.
Right now, it's shaping up to be a very interesting champion select because... Oh, okay. That's even more interesting because you're going to ban that cast, and it means you don't want to first pick it. They are most likely looking to first pick a jungler here on TDK side and set Kez up with something so that he can roam around the map. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe the Nidalee again. It's very possible. He did have a good showing on that yesterday.
Very true.
But they're still going to leave the Fiddlesticks up. They're still going to leave a lot here. Like, if J4 still gets left up, there's a lot of options here for Zingy to take.
It's also TSM's last chance to ban Jace away from Kyle. Exactly. He did it and crushed yesterday with the champion. And that concerns me if it is left up. Also, guys, just so you know, while 5.4 did go live today in most of the regions, these guys are playing on 5.3, so the changes to Zillion, things like that, Cassidy as well, not in effect this week in Challenger or LCS. So in case you were wondering, there's the Jarvan ban. I think they were considering that getting pinched away by TDK. And rather than let him first pick it, they're banning one of his Zingy's own champions.
Here's the thing that confuses me too, because there's still a lot up. Nidalee, Rek'Sai, like even Lee Sin is kind of around the top, just hovering around there. But those are still 2 junglers. That is, Zingy's going to get at least one of those 2. The Pantheon ban always confuses me against the Zingy because I've not seen that be strong in his hands.
Right, it doesn't.
Every time we see him, he drops the ball with it.
Well, maybe there's things in scrims that we just aren't seeing where it does work sometimes, but I think we've sort of seen throughout League of Legends history that scrims don't tend to always reflect match results. The Nidalee does get first pick here, and again, Jace is up, and TDK can play the exact same comp they did yesterday.
Oh, they could just go for more poke on top of it. It's really confusing because when you lose to a team, you really want to change your pick ban strategy. And if you just let them do exactly the same thing, they'll do it because they're like, it worked yesterday. Now it's on you guys to change your strat.
There is one thing to say about that, though. When a team is effective, you can expect them to pick the same comp and say, I know the counters. Say, you know what? We screwed up our pick ban last time. We should have picked champion X instead of Y. Let them pick that comp. They'll fall right into the trap. And I hope for TSM Darkness's sake, that is what's happening here.
Yeah, if you have a plan, then you can do that. There's like kind of mind gaming the mind games.
Sure.
It's great. But that's mind gaming us right now. They're not going to pick a Skarner. Azingi's got crazy things. He doesn't have Skarner up his sleeve, though.
Hey, you never know. Practice it in secret on a Smurf.
Righteous Glory, rush at people with it.
Oh my gosh. You know it does work with Callista, by the way, who is left up.
Yes.
So you can do crazy Callista Skarner dumb things.
Dumb things.
I mean, it's just silly, really, more than anything. It's great, though.
It reminds me of Poro King just whoosh.
Oh man, it works on that too, right?
Yeah, back when Poro King was the thing.
Yep.
You could just do it by yourself though, right? Because you'd go in with the Poro, snatch him up, and then
press F.
Yeah.
Because all smart people put F on that summoner spell. Annie and Callista do go through for TSM Darkness, and whenever we talk about Callista, we talk about point-and-click stuns. The jungler is probably already shown for Kez here with Nidalee, and the Annie's already dropped away, and Lissandra's banned. All these things give TSM Darkness a really safe Callista pick for teaser.
Yeah, and the fact that you take the Annie for yourself, you don't have that point-and-click stun against you in lane.
Right.
And we always talk about Callista combined with Annie is a really great initiate, because Annie stuns, she gets to throw herself in and even line up that stun, not having to use her flash for the engage. Yep. And it's a really good lane with the range.
That's true. You can so easily trigger her W. Most Callistas will not start anything but Rend at level 1, but this is one champion where you can start Sentinel and just use the Soulbound trigger to do like 12% max health on like an 8-second cooldown, and it's dumb. It's so strong as far as lane is concerned. Jace does go through. TDK, by the way, I believe those are all 3 champions I saw last time.
Yeah,
this is not even a new comp whatsoever for TDK.
Yeah, those are.
Cater still up too, which means they can play literally the same comp.
Giving themselves a strong laning phase with the Sona also helps you poke because you have the sustain if you take poke in return. They did win that game yesterday off of poking and then having Seraph run the Mundo in the top lane and then just run basically zone defense. If they're throwing out poke, Mundo just stands in front of it and soaks it all.
Well, we'll see what he can soak in this one if he does get played in the team composition. TSM Darkness have to sniff that this comp is coming, that they have to expect very similar things to come out. That said, they haven't shown their own comp goals. All they've done is shown their bottom lane, which has cleanup and hard engage. So what else do you follow up this team comp with for TSM Darkness? They need solo laners and a jungle. And I guess Annie could be a flex pick too.
Yesterday they did pick the Xerath for Arc Second. He'll know what he's up against right here for the most part. Jace top is not very common. It is possible.
I mean, it's Kyle. He's playing Jace this game.
Yeah, exactly. It's Kyle. He's going to play Jace, so you know what you're up against. They did have the Xerath yesterday, which did delay the game a little bit for TSM Darkness.
Good defender.
Because you have the Siege break, right? So I would assume that's here for Arc Second. He does play those control mages. He has really good showings on it in the past, and it's really his go-to. So that's what I expect here from Arc Second. Possibly a jungler here for a Zingy, but they have no rush on that. Okay, they're going to get themselves a top laner.
Interesting. So they are contesting not Dr. Muno, but Maokai, thinking that they care more about grabbing that one away and not letting Seraph play it in the team composition. If they do lock the champion in after all, yeah, Udyr, I think, is unlikely to get played against a poke comp. Poke tends to get so far away from Udyr that he can't get in. You need hard engage, not follow-up engage right now. More to, like, you know, synergize off of this Annie here. And so instead, yeah, there's the Rek'Sai hover. Likely champion here. Still surprised they aren't picking a mid laner, but I guess at this point they can pick either hard engage, long range, siege, something in the middle for that mid lane.
Yeah, their mid lane last pick is just to see what rounds out TDK's comp. And I really like that TSM Darkness, like you said, they know that this composition is possibly coming from TDK. So what they're doing is they're getting themselves some counters. Instead of the Thresh yesterday, they now have an Annie for hard engage. Yeah. That's how you counter poke.
True.
You hard engage them. There were times where it was like people keep drafting Nidalee and the enemy team doesn't draft any hard engage. And you just have to sit there and take it.
Yeah, another Annie is actually a common pick again. People realize that you can play her and flash tibbers some fools, and then life gets painful. I do like the Rek'Sai, by the way, because she, as well as the Maokai with Teleport, can flank compositions, which also is very, very good against these sort of siege-focused teams, these long-range poke teams who don't typically have great disengage. Varus, by the way, got locked in for Louis GG, so he's actually a poke AD carry, one we haven't seen in basically forever. We did see it at Worlds by Deft. He played it once in, I think, the semis. and lost horribly. But I love this champion, and he actually gets to be sort of continued follow-up in this poke game.
I really, really like that lock-in. This is basically the dream ARAM composition here from TDK. If you get those 4 champions in ARAM, you're like, oh man, giving me any of them, even Sona on top of that. It's just a bad time.
Yeah. So
your face, you're like, oh,
I mean,
man.
I know how these
been
champs
there.
work.
Everybody's been there.
Yeah, that comp exists every once in a while. Dr. Mundo, though, to round that out, that is going to be, that's still picked up. So the only champion different between game 1 and 2 for TDK is Varus in for Caitlyn, interestingly enough, but he will comp at the poke team. He does get to be a little bit more disengagey. That ult is pretty good at running people back, but he has no escapes. There's not very much peel, and Annie, Rek'Sai, and Maokai are going to jump on him.
You're going to have to expect a Mikhails very early on here from Smoothie.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to be quick on that. We saw him get it yesterday where he was able to Mikhails some thresh hooks, but they were a little too late sometimes. So he's going to have to be on top of his Mikhails when the engages come out. But there's so much hard engage here from TSM Darkness and a lot of margin for error, because they can just be like, little margin for error, right? Like they can keep going in. They throw in Indivisible. If he misses, he's like, oh, I still got Tibbers stun.
That's true.
They're still good.
That's true. And then, of course, the follow-up from Rek'Sai, Maokai. And again, one thing I think can't be understated is no matter how bad your comp might work, flanking is always a thing. And the Summoner Teleport and the Rek'Sai ulti can always allow you those little ways in. TSM Darkness need a mid laner now, unless Annie's a flex pick. Xerath, as you said, common for Arc Second. They have decent engage. There's not a lot of engaged mid laners. I guess Orianna could do it. Or just some kind of damage follow-up. There's a lot of ways to play this. You could also like play a big split pusher and separate the poke team. Like none of these are really great duelists, aside from I guess Mundo can kind of hold the line, but only if he gets ahead.
You got to watch out for Nidalee taking over the game though very early on. Like if Nidalee comes into the jungle and messes with Rek'Sai, it's still a very bad time for Rek'Sai. Despite people being like she's a great duelist, Nidalee is even better early on. Just the amount of stuff she has in her kit, overall the things that she can do very early on to you in the jungle is dirty. Yeah, so Nidalee maybe queen of the jungle, Rek'Sai queen of the Xerath might not be a good enough crown in this case then. If that's the case, we'll see how the Kez versus Zingy matchup goes in round 2 here. TDK once again keeping their lineup basically the same. TSM Darkness, they swapped in a better engage, support, and I would say a slightly weaker engage jungler. Yeah, they had the Jarvan, but the big thing was that Jarvan forcing a fight, you can really force it when flashes are down. Right? That's how you force the fight, is with the Cataclysm. But here, they're going to be able to get in with a Zingy pretty much no matter what. And I want to see him on this Rek'Sai. I have not been convinced by a Zingy's jungle play yet this season. His Pantheon's been kind of lackluster. It's banned from him. His Jarvan wasn't that great either. I want him to impress me.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that the win we did see wasn't broadcasted live. Of course, the VODs are up on LOL Esports if you want to see some of Zingy's good games. And by the way, if you guys
did... The Vi game,
Yeah, exactly. His Vi game was actually quite good. And in fact, you might be able to see reasons why Dignitas did pick up a Zingy. We'll actually be seeing him play again this weekend with Dignitas, which means he'll, of course, be out next week for TSM Darkness for sure.
That's right.
Getting pulled up to the big leagues. But you expect this player to do well, considering that he did get picked up by a pro team this weekend. So... I still think eyes are on a Zingy. We all get our first taste of Dignitas' new jungler here. And TSM Darkness and TDK just together, both these teams 1 and 2, are going to have to get themselves up in the standings.
Yeah, and also if you end up owning the tiebreaker or having like the 1-1 against the team, you end up tying them, you still have a better chance. You're just like, all right, 2-0 over this team, because yesterday TDK won it. If they go 2-0 over this team and then they end up tying them, they own the tiebreaker and they make playoffs.
Right, yeah. Right. With such a small league, tiebreakers actually almost mean more because you're more likely to tie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I really like the compositions that came out here because TDK drafted themselves the same thing, but a Varus.
Yeah.
So they're going to do more of the same of what you guys may have not seen yesterday. The VODs are up on LOL Esports under VODs. But TSD have something different today. Same mid laner, but they have more engage. I really, really want to see how this just all fleshes out.
Yeah, it's always the big weakness is can you start fights out. Annie, definitely a more reliable engage support than Sona. So you do want to imagine things will go well in this case as the teams get themselves out of their fountains. We're going to see just battle lines on both sides here, just watching invades more so than starting ones yourself.
Yeah, both teams, like you said, going for it. So nobody really with the aggressive moves early. Oh. We're seeing a lot less lane swaps in Challenger than we are in LCS.
That's
LCS,
true.
it looks like everybody's trying to sniff out the lane swap very early. And in Challenger, everybody's like, no, 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 I don't want a lane swap. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone still. I want to have the 2-on-2 and see how I measure up against everybody.
Yeah, it tends to be how it's played. It's very strange to me still that teams aren't willing to inflict lane swaps on their opponents. As far as matchups go, thinking about the 1-on-1, that feels fairly equal. We did see Balls win against Impact playing Maokai against Dr. Mundo, though that was, I would say, more misplays by Impact than specific outplays by Balls. In the bot lane, I think it's very close. Yep. It's two high-range lanes that are actually quite good auto-attack-wise, which makes it just very trade-heavy. And while TSM Darkness have the burst advantage because they have Annie with Ignite and all that, TDK with Smoothie's Sona have so much sustain that without bursting, I think it's hard for the TSD duo lane to win that matchup.
Yeah, you'd have to burst. Burst is kind of the counter to sustain, and sustain's kind of the counter to poke.
Oh, hold on. This is tricky. So look at Dr. Mundo on the minimap right now. So look, we can see that the Gromp is being started. Seraph is actually proxying this wave and trying to make experience get lost. You know how every Maokai ever tries to sort of kill the Wolf Camp early on, right, and just destroy that, get level 2 TP in? Well, by Seraph pulling this wave, this entire wave of minions is going to die before Big Ol' Ron can TP in and ends up getting
wow,
the same XP, roughly, because a camp is worth roughly 1 minion.
He doesn't
wave.
get one.
No. He's slightly up in XP and about the, I would say he's slightly lower in gold.
And this is going to hard shove towards Seraph because there's just a whole nother wave of minions here. That's not even close to fair.
Well, keep in mind, though, Seraph has no XP, and the question is how much can he actually see us under turret as Dr. Mundo? Because the XP advantage is actually equalized, more or less. That wave, again, worth the same as Wolves. The gold is what I am curious about, because what can he last hit? Yeah,
last hitting under turret, not the easiest thing as Dr. Mundo. Of course, if he started with his E, but he didn't. He went for the Q, so he's just going to have to auto-attack these.
Okay, so
he got his E, so it's much easier now with the extra AD.
Let's see. He's going to miss 3 minions.
Still comes up with more, though.
That's close to equal, I would say. 3 minions versus a wave? Or a jungle camp? Yeah, so you can see like a 30 gold difference between the two. XP almost exactly the same. So cute counterplay by Seraph ends up being a wash overall, but this is the first time I've seen that. I really like it.
Yeah, it's risky, though. Because if that guy was hanging out at the Raptors, or if they were starting red, he would just walk up there and your jungler would be right in the vicinity to pick on the window.
Yeah, he had trinket warded the brush above Krugs, and then it's like, okay, no one's doing that camp. Jungler's probably on the right side of the map, inferred all that information, and then went for it.
Don't try it at home until you prep yourself appropriately. Let's see if Kez can land this.
Nope. Prep. Oh, a little bit too far to the back. Arcsecond flashed away and survives it. Javelin would have meant probably another 300 damage in that trade.
Yeah, still doesn't matter because he got the flash.
That's true.
Flash is really what he wanted from that game. Getting the kill would be just icing on the cake.
So now we got to check how much Lewis can actually... Ooh, hold on. Still going for the trade. Lands the Empowered Shock Blast. Forces the heal out as well. Kyle low on health. Already burned his Ignite as well. And he's out of potions. He's got to be careful. Ugh. 140 health.
Oh, man.
Only got Flash.
Think he's going to come in?
Flash Lock will kill him. He has to stay out of range of Flash Unburrow from a Zingy at all times.
Off on the right. With both junglers showing up in the mid lane.
Oh, there's the jump on in. Luigi G gets the Empowered W. The Ignite's going to be enough damage. First blood already. Teaser gets out of range of the backside, loses his summoners as well, but super worth it.
The double stun from Indivisible. Perfect timing there to unleash that combo on the Annie. And Teaser was right on the same page with him.
Teaser learning every single ability by level 3. I believe it's 1 point in everything. Yes, indeed it was. So yeah, of course I saw them with the Empowered W. Broadcast tried to smite to land a Javelin, but it didn't one-shot the melee minion, of course. He's not high enough level for that to happen, so no burst into Arcsecond.
But he still gets to shove this out. Like we were saying, this is the Terror ARAM composition. Every time Kez shows up, they get to shove it, possibly throw some spears down. But man, I see this composition grouping up very early on to siege down turrets from TDK.
Oh my gosh, Arcsecond. I thought Kyle was going to back. I thought he was like, yep, I'm out. You know, I have enough money for tier and boots. Let's do that. No, burst Arcsecond down again. Thing is, he already had the first recall, like a pretty safe one as well. Looks like Kyle will not shove the wave, but will recall on the spot. Problem is, that will actually be a slightly worse, I would say actually slightly worse recall than it would have been if he went for the last wave.
Oh.
He knows the mid laner's gone.
He's not been seen.
Yeah, knows he's not been spotted for the most part, unless there were defensive wards, which you doubt exist this early on.
Nope. They're going to see Kez right here, and he decides to continue his back. Snidley's just scary.
Really is scary. Again, Queen of the Jungle, I think, right now, overall. She's taken that mantle over from Elise from last year.
She's a big bully. There are wards here that are going to spot Kez. He does come back with a pink ward to place that one down. A lot of vision control from both teams, and now it's going to be kind of that battle for vision coming out in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, what does interest me about that vision battle, as you mentioned, is there's one unknown ward. It's the ward right now that Kez is on top of, the one at the Krugs, because everything else got cleared and got spotted. So the rest of the vision was known, and the pink ward at Tribush they obviously saw. So Kez is revealed bot lane, and I want to know if TSD can do anything about that information.
Watch some juggle movements here from Azingi. He's trying to keep tabs on where Kez goes. Like you said, the Krug ward. Now he's put one by the Wolves.
It saw him go right as well. Keep in mind, when he killed Krugs, he went to this side of the map. There's actually no way that this gank could work, possibly unless TSD overextends. So Kez wasted some time. Didn't know he got seen. If he did, wouldn't have went there.
Yep. And the fact that you see him so early, too, makes the jungler think that the ward is actually closer, because the team starts playing back as soon as they see him leave Krugs.
Yeah, you wait like 10 seconds, then back up, and you're like, yeah, dude, that brush is warded totally, dog. And not.
Happens all the time. It really does.
That's my internal monologue when I play League, by the way.
Yeah.
I turn into a bro. You can see this poke, though, on the teaser. I really love Varus for things like that. You can see a 15-minion lead, and Sona, even though this lane died first, by the way, they're up 16 minions because Varus is awesome.
Varus just pokes and applies a lot of pressure. There's no sustain here, so every time he charges up his Q, Teaser has to respect it, and if he eats it, Zingi's coming in. He's just going to try to relieve the pressure here.
He could flash on a smoothie.
Sona
stun does have flash, and flash is in for Teaser. Ignite is on. There's no heal. Last tick gets some smoothie trades back.
The flash forward to get the ignite. Smoothly with
YOLO.
Smooth moves there.
Oh my gosh, you're sure right. And he's level 6 now, so Sona with Crescendo means even more fun counter-engage available. Indivisible did use his own Ignite for that trade. No other summoner spells burned, though.
It might have been really smooth, too, because if Azingi had flashed W'd, then he wouldn't have hit him with the knockup because Smoothie flashed.
That's true.
Forward, so playing the mind games there, but he didn't go for it. Instead, just applying.
Now we're seeing his mid lane getting pressured. Arcsecond went over for his blue. Timer's going to be known by TDK at about 13 minutes into the game is when that's coming back up. 13 in change, and Kyle can use that maybe. He's going to recall again. He's got Tyrion longsword. Actually doesn't back up. We're going to watch this top lane for a bit. It's actually going very equal. The level 2 Gambit didn't do very much to the lane texture, and Seraph is just farming really, really well. Biggle Ron the same.
Get him! Oh. Coming back down. This is actually to look for a gank here, because there's no camps around this area.
They know Flash is down for about 30 more seconds on Louis GG, and they know Smoothies is down for a while. They have to deal with Crescendo and the Tendrils of Corruption coming out of Varus as well, but overall, I feel like it's a gankable lane.
There is a ward in that brush, though. Azingi pinging towards it. Here's the chain.
Landed at max range, and Invisible's going to break the stun in time. Nice double stun by Smoothie, and out goes the team, but they just throw in Indivisible. Louis GG's going to go down. The combo's just too much to deal with.
Like we said in Champion Select, there's just so many engage tools, and the margin for error is so small. You miss one engage, you have 3 more to still follow it up and attempt to continue the fight.
Yeah, and also really weird communication between the members of TDK. Varus ulti with no one in range to help at all. TSD get the counter engage. They're going to go for the dragon off of the pink ward as well, and looks like no one will contest this. TSM Darkness through their bottom lane, winning the game.
Yeah, Azingi is applying the pressure here. Kez, he might go for a spear here. Hits Azingi, and he just face tanks it, just to make sure.
Rend into auto attack. Azingi does not even need Smite to claim Dragon. TSD now on the board with their first global objective. Now, all that said, the gold is very close to equal because of this mid lane matchup. Actually, it's close. I thought it was. It used to be more than +3 minions. Oh, hold on, the Flash Timbers engage Smoothie, taking a whole bunch of punishment. They proc the W.
One more.
Ren not quite doing enough. Teaser dives the turret, can't get the kill. One auto attack to go. The Flash Summoner heal traded. Louis GG still wants this. Seraph really does, but the stun comes in from Indivisible.
Oh, there's teleport from Big Ol' Ron.
Wow, this battle continues on. Smoothie goes in to land the heal, but it's not going to be enough. Zingy lands the knockup. Sarah forced to run away. They can't quite chase out anymore, but that is a 1 for nothing.
Teaser gets out, too. Really, really crazy play, but here's Kyle. He's got to step on some Zingy's little tunnels here before he gets down. ArcSecond gets some time alone to push, but the big thing about that fight for me is just the fact that TSD, they don't want to stop pressuring this poke comp. They want all-out fights. They want the engages as much as they can get before they start grouping up. That's how they need to make their advantage, because as soon as TDK starts grouping up, you really have to answer. So when you catch them when they're stragglers and they aren't the full poke comp, it's really easy to deal with it. And they also don't have a whole lot of disengage.
That's true. I mean, that lane especially, that bot lane duo there is very easy to pick on. You think about the rest of the matchups. Maokai versus Mundo. Yeah, that's a wet noodle fight. Jace, who's wave clearing from basically under his turret. Never going to kill him either. TDK kind of almost aware of how big of a target is on those players' heads down there. They pick a lane without any escapes, and they're oftentimes playing too far up to deal with the pick attempts.
Oh yeah, a Varus is a very juicy target to go after. Every time I see a Varus in a game as a jungler, I'm like, all right, that's the lane I'm going to. Because he doesn't even have a spell shield like Sivir. Right?
Yep.
He's 100% immobile.
He's at least long ranged.
Yeah, he's long ranged, but he doesn't have any movement tools, no move blocks, no move speed increases, nothing.
He's got a root, he's got a slow. They help a little bit. But you got to play really far back. No, it's pretty hard and nice. The early blue trinket usage. ArcSecond, by the way, got one also. So 2 blue trinkets on TSM Darkness. They spot the jungle gank. You just see TSD so much more aware of how much pressure is on this lane. Zingy's early ward on Krugs spotted out Kez's first gank attempt down there. The blue trinket usage, again, in the lane brush, expecting Kez to be there. Gets it right again. TSD really playing this laning phase well.
And they're picking on Louis GG, who has a history in the Challenger Series of not winning lane. He's struggled if he doesn't have a winning matchup. The Caitlyn being sacrificed instead for this Varus, which doesn't win lane, which doesn't have an escape, much easier to pick on. So the one adaptation that TDK made is exploitable.
And so far, they've done some exploitation. Now, the bot lane was winning as far as the 2-on-2 is concerned, right? He's still up 9 minions as a 0-3 Varus. Like, that requires some skill to re-engage, so they land the crescendo. The counter tippers as well. A lot of damage back and forth, and they do burst down the Callista, unable to do anything.
Here comes the Zingy, though, but Kez is here as well.
Yeah, Kez is already here. 3 men in the bot lane versus 2 weak defenders here, and Kyle still has pressure in mid, meaning they will get time to knock this down. They've got to be afraid of Indivisible. Tibbers does finally get killed, though. Which means even less pressure.
50 gold to Kez. You always want to take out that Tibbers. Smite it if you can. Just get rid of it.
Good dodging by Kyle. Seems to get away from ArcSecond's ulti there. Used it for poke, but Kyle's just fine. Early Brutalizer. You're seeing them try to poke each other. Minions, though, getting pitted back and forth. Kyle's at 1 hit from dead. He's got to leave. Kez, though, wants this one. Lands the Javelin. And the hunt is on. One more attack will kill him. Auto attack. Heal used. And not going to get it.
Very, very close there from Kez. Good gank, good relief of pressure onto Kyle. Because otherwise ArcSecond would just auto attack for more mana and continue to poke him out. And that's going to force Kyle back, but now he gets a better recall than he would have had before. Absolutely
the case. So really good things here by everyone in that mid lane. ArcSecond getting away safely and Kez relieving pressure for Kyle. I will say I am very impressed by ArcSecond's play this game. He got camped pretty early on, lost his flash at the very beginning. Kez nearly killed him on a repeat visit. And he's actually managed to keep equal in minions, impressively enough, without seemingly that much pressure by his team. So his solo play continues to be very good for TSM Darkness. There's his blue buff picked up about a minute late, no big deal there. But TDK, even though we keep saying all these things going well for TSM Darkness, they have this game within 400 gold, all the same.
The synergy bottom, and TDK still showing that this bottom lane has some power to it with the crescendo and the chain of corruption. Was a really good engagement, a really good way to turn it around. They still, like you said, have an advantage in CS in the bottom, have a level advantage, experience advantage overall, because you see Smoothie level 8 to Indivisible still at 7, because he's been roaming around trying to get some wards. And 2 of those kills in the bot lane are on that support. Both supports. So like even the gold that has come into the game, bloodthirsty supports all throughout. Not ideal, but it does allow them both to get their mobility boots with distortion very early.
Right, that's the interesting thing. They both invested that money into the cheapest boot upgrade possible and then the distortion to get the earlier flash, because these guys are the only two reliable hard engage on either team. Easiest to land skill shots, longest range, all that said. So having a 3-minute cooldown on your flash timbers or flash crescendo actually allows you to pick a good number of fights. So you do want to look really closely at what Smoothie and Indivisible are doing, because they are key to their team comps working, I think.
Maokai is down here for this dragon, and Seraph gets some alone time with that top lane turret. And TSD don't get this. TSD don't get this. All right, there we go. TP coming in from Seraph.
It's a 2-minion wave lead for Seraph before it starts. Kyle has to get away from the last one. He does! Arc second cannot land the last burst, but now it's a 5v4. The engage happens anyway. Teaser is low, but he throws in his support, and Smoothie incredibly close to dead, and he dies. The third for Indivisible. Big ol' Ron tanks up for as long as he can, but he goes down. Stun onto Seraph. He doesn't have enough tank items to survive, so Seraph will drop. He flashes for almost no reason, and it's a 2-1 so far for TSM Darkness. Kyle's still trying to be part of this fight.
Zingy comes back, though, and they're going to start the dragon up again. Seraph didn't get his ulti off until the very last second. He was dead.
Oh, wow. Guts exploded. Kez on the wings. Kyle, though, again, cannot close the melee range. They are trying to poke. No other team could participate with this low of health, but they are sure trying. Shock blast on Zingy. They try. No. Dragon goes down to TSD. Kez forced one away. Zingy, though, not going to land with the Q. But all of a sudden, +1 kill plus a dragon for TSM Darkness.
Our second flash there.
Oh, wow.
Trying to extend the range of his Q.
Arc second did, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He flashed there at the very end, trying to extend that range of his Q. Didn't quite work out for him there.
Nice try all the same. It's a loss of a cooldown, but at least they can wait around till next dragon, and that'll be back up.
They also have TP advantage on big ol' Ron now.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was already in the fight. A lot of flashes blown there. Everybody except for the 280 carries. This in the mid lane was really good, because now Kyle can't participate in this.
Yeah.
And watch Seraph here throughout this fight.
Verisol.
Yeah, exactly. The Verisol doesn't land, but Seraph hasn't blown his ultimate at this point. Still hasn't blown it. He's sitting on it, and then he gets locked up there, hit by the E, tries to blow it. Right there. You hear the sound, doesn't get it off till the very end.
That's very surprising. There were no ignites left up at that time, and the Varus is on his team. It's not like he's facing any healing reductions. Strange choices there. Very
he just got locked up for too long. He went from half HP to dead.
But why not pop it close to the start, you know? Like,
yeah. But regardless, the missed chain of corruption, the fact it didn't lock anybody up is really big. And that's something about Varus players, that it's pretty hit or miss, literally.
Yes.
You hit that skill, it's great. If you miss it, it's a huge cooldown that you're just like, that could have turned the fight. But speaking of turning a fight.
Yeah, Teaser jumping in hard for Smoothie, throws his support back in. Actually, wow, Indivisible goes behind Smoothie. He would have gotten knocked back almost out of range otherwise. Crescendo comes in, Kez goes in for that one, finds it. Now can he land the last javelin? Teaser dodges, gets away with the auto, with the flash rather. Empowered auto was almost enough all the same for Kez.
Man, at that point, I don't think Indivisible wanted to be that far up with Kez coming in.
I didn't know if he knew, but heck.
Well, you wouldn't want to be that far up 2020. Hindsight.
Yeah, that's true. So, bottom lane turret goes down. Kez finds a good counter gank. One of the very few he's found so far this game. 1-0 and 1 on him. Zingy, I felt like, has been all over this game. 0-0-5. Put up a camp bottom. So far did well with that one. So, gotta say, that looks good for the new Dignitas member. But this game still remains very close to Miko's apart.
That's Indivisible's first death of the game. He is 4-1 and 3, and you can see the amount of pressure they're putting on Louis here, but then they continue it, goes right over his shoulder, and then tries to continue the fight. You can see just throwing Qs here. Teaser can't rejoin. He's afraid of the Q from Sona, prioritizing him and getting that kill.
And he did not see Kez coming.
Nope. Not at all, and that rewards him with the turret in the bottom lane for TDK, the first turret of the game, falling into their hands, and that actually gives them a gold lead.
Wow.
Very slightly.
Yeah, TDK, they've been down so much, but Seraph, who delayed his teleport for the dragon fight, right, got 2 extra waves that way, got a lot of damage in that turret right up there, by the way. Gave him a nice lead. I mean, think about last game, right? Seraph solo carried that game, essentially, by the fact that TSD could not deal with him anymore. But we have a very fed Annie, very fed Calista who might be able to.
And they lane swap their 80 carry support immediately to the top where there's a turret to take. And you want to, as soon as you get that bottom lane turret, swap your duo lane into a lane that has something for them to take. Otherwise, they're pushing against nothing. and they're just like, all right, we've shoved up and we got this. This continues to apply pressure on the map. Yep. Now they can go middle, group up with a numbers advantage. There's 2 side waves that TSD have to respect and clear out before they can come to this middle. And watch as 5 people grouping up as a poke comp. A-Rams coming in here for TDK.
Oh man, took 21 minutes, but TDK have started. All draft, all mid. TDK are renaming themselves to Adam here, and all 3 turrets have gone down within about a minute of each other. TDK now holding onto a 2,000 gold lead because of that destruction.
All draft, all mid, A-Dam.
Adam.
Adam.
I mean, let's be fair, it spells Adam.
Yeah, it's Adam, but it's a damn hard situation for TSD.
We'll see if they can turn it around. The top lane turret's so low. It's weird that Big Ol' Ron was unwilling to commit to it, but being stuck up there in a long lane against a perma-slowing Mundo, I understand him trying to run away from that one. But you want to hope that TSD at some point gets some gold back in their coffers for how well they were laning initially.
Yeah, they need more vision control. Right now their vision control has fallen off. They have about 2-3 wards on the map in total for TSD. 1 in that red and then 1 on their blue side jungle. They have nothing on the top side. They're completely blind there. So he didn't have the vision control to sit in that top lane. Now it's on TDK to prioritize vision control in the river, start moving it up forward, and then start getting those tier 2 turrets and sieging. Seraph can split push, his TP is now available, and he's pretty much a immovable object. He has that regen, so even if he does take some poke or some damage, he's always going to be healthy.
So now let's see how the next objective comes across. 40, I can't read, or I just divide things by 2. 35 seconds now until Dragon. TSD are there first. Up until recently, they were the team with the advantage, but 3 turrets going down plus recalls coming in means TDK should be more well-equipped for this impending fight. TSD hold vision, though. They are a strong poke comp. They have to deal with Varus, Nidalee, and Jace all the same. So far, good dodging. And they've kept their wards safe, but TDK keep putting new ones down. They can't yet contest this pink ward, but now they're going to.
I like the fact that they put themselves in that situation second, but here they go with the engage.
They're going to lock up Seraph a little bit, but only so much can be done to the man. And Invisible losing a quarter of his health bar, but in comes the Dragon start.
They have to start it. Kyle shoved mid, and they have to pull him back into this fight.
And well, Minion's going to start being lost from TSD as mid lane is getting chunked out. Indivisible, speaking of chunks, going to lose a lot of his health. Another Shock Blast comes in. This might be a bit too greedy. In comes Seraph, goes for Big Ol' Ron, but the counter engage comes across. 3-man Crescendo, Big Annie Timbers hits the back line. They're trading 1 for 1. Both supports are dead, and another kill in for TDK. Now, can they find more? Kez is low, but the snipe comes in. Make that 3 kills picked up so far. And those 4 standing members make that 3 standing members. Seraph re-engages. They look for Arc second. He flashes away from Louis GG's slow, and they will get that chase kill down. A 4-2 fight for TDK. Teaser's too far out. They're going to get Dragon.
It's so hard to just take down Seraph. He has so much HP at this point, and you are not equipped with the damage dealers on TSD to deal with it. The fact that all this poke is coming across from TDK in those tiny choke points, when you are starting up Dragon, when you are doing Dragon, you're more focused on that. Azingi took forever to peel off of it, and the Dragon still falls over to TDK.
Yeah. It's just a greedy start. They didn't even pull out Dragon. Their positioning is horrible here.
I absolutely love what TDK did. They said, you're going to start Dragon so we can poke you while you're in this position. You're going to do Dragon very slowly, or else you're going to take all this damage. And they still take a ton of damage. And if they didn't start the Dragon, they would just shove mid-wave with Kyle, who has that W, and that just shreds turrets. He did max that second.
These are actually some meaningful damage to Seraph. He got him down to about 300 health, and then he's back to 1300.
Yep.
He almost got meaningful damage down.
Almost got meaningful damage.
Oh, sorry, he got meaningful damage. It just didn't stay.
Yeah.
Regen to back up.
That's the part of sustain too, because even if you look at this comp, there's 3 people who have heals. Yep. 2 of them you can heal other people with the Sona and the Nidalee, but then Mundo's self-heal is just absolutely fantastic. He's going to eventually get a Spirit Visage too, and then he's just going to be immovable.
Yeah, you're seeing how much he's tempering his build. He's like, okay, Warmog's early, Spectre's Cal for the laning phase, but I really want Randuin's because I am afraid of Rek'Sai and Kalista. And it's good to see him kind of go back and forth. I think his actually build order is quite nice here on Seraph, on that Dr. Mundo. TDK are starting to look a whole lot better throughout this mid-game. They escaped a really rough laning phase thanks to Azingi's ganks. And now, TDK looking like they are in control, wanting to 2-0 this series, put pressure top lane.
Oh, teaser too far forward.
Whoa, he walked up real far without work. This TP, yeah, okay, good job canceling it. There's no way you win that one, but Seraph is on top of Azingi. He teleported in. Rek'Sai might retreat, invisible, caught out by Kyle. The jungle completely owned by TDK. Azingi to be the third casualty, flashes out. Whee! Top lane's available. Louis GG's gonna grab that one. And push the wave out. The rest of the team, they pick up Azingi, and now this turret will fall. This game is collapsing around TSM Darkness.
TDK, they play their composition perfectly. They played it great yesterday, and it's just more of the same here from them today. TSD, they tried to focus that bottom lane, but it's not working. It didn't work out for them. And now you can see the poke comp just working really well here for them. Look at this. They're just going to have Seraph tank this entire turret and just wreck it in like 5 seconds.
He fully tanked an inhibitor turret at 26 minutes in, still has 2,000 health, and his team took an inhibitor turret down. So 2 turrets and 3 kills for that move. Top lane, TSD played right into TDK's hands, and now a lot of rebuilding to do for Darkness.
You have to think they saw this coming too, because they saw it yesterday.
That's true.
TSD. They're going to counter with a little bit of a push on mid.
Okay, that's good.
They'll get this turret for themselves. It's a consolation prize. Their first outer turret of the game.
Yeah, that's so rough that they've only picked up 1 turret, and only because TDK recalled after a gigantic team fight win. This is looking rough right now for the red side. And I'm trying to think what they do to get ahead. They get Death Rush and Hard Engage.
They got
that blue trinket might let them do it. Ooh. Never mind.
Yes. Hitting a support for the Javelin. Really chunks them out. I love that Rod of Ages second on Italy.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with that is absolutely brilliant, because that item covers a lot of her problems. You get it and you're like, that's a really expensive item to get as a jungler, and you get it a little late too. Like, it doesn't stack up at the time that you would expect it to.
It's like a 25-minute item.
But you're just like, okay, I'll get Magus, enchant, and then, oh boy, Rod of Ages. Like, no, people are usually like, needlessly large. But no, this covers her weakness of sometimes she's out of mana. You donate your blues to your mid laner. And the HP on it is really good. It allows you to jump in and not get completely destroyed for it. I think this is a great pick. He also picked up the Ionian Boots of Lucidity instead of Spell Pen, just so he can throw out more spears more frequently. He's sitting on full CDR at this point.
Yeah, I think it's 20% on it. It's like almost a more defensive build, because your javelins would hit harder with Magic Pen, like flat out, but more heals, more everything else, more jumping around. Bot lane tier 2 goes down. All they do is push the lane without Xerath, and it falls right away. The defensive wave clear does not come in fast enough. And Kyle's Jace 4-0 and 2, certainly one of the big wrecking balls for these sieges. Yeah,
they are ahead of the power curve, and Kyle is a big part of that. He already has his Muramana completed.
Yep.
And
the
it's
double
ready
armor
to go.
core.
Exactly.
Which is crazy strong. Even sets up Louis GG, of course, with that Black Cleaver. Pretty much all physical damage coming out of Varus in general. Has some magic, it's actually meaningful, but his active skills, non-ultimates, all doing physical, and getting plenty strong autos as well. There's the engage attempt, and he looks for the flash, gets it onto Kyle. He can blow up right away, and in fact, he does. Louis GG was forced to flash out, but this is a 5v4. TSD, they found the engage. What can they do with it?
They've caught him with their pants down, too, because Seraph is top with no TP. He can't be a part of this fight. They have to wave clear this.
Well, there are very few minions alive, but Tibbers might fit the bill for the rest of it. Backdoor bonus is off. Indivisible should be able to back away safely, and they get a mid lane tier 2 for it, but careful, because Kez ain't done with this one. Kyle's still dead for 20. There's no flank attempt available. They can hit the health bars, but I don't think they can engage a fight.
Oh my god. There's 3 different people who do half your HP, but look at this!
Oh my god! Arc second!
Speaking of half your HP, Arc second chunks out Louis, takes him off the map. Everybody just does so much damage. Everybody is so squishy, except for Mundo and Maokai.
Yeah.
Everybody takes about half their HP. This is a game all about dodging skill shots.
And with the score being 11-11, these teams are about equally skilled at dodgeball here. TDK, off those great picks, are going to get Dragon number 3, and their dodgeball skills actually going to stay the same. I think that was... No, that was Dragon 2 for them. Sorry. Wow, they're blue side. What am I doing? For some reason, TDK got the pick, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's totally red team getting it. They killed everyone. No, they didn't.
It was happening to me at the start of the game too, where I was like swapping AD carries and what they were playing all the time, because both teams have a T and a D in their name. This is an S and a K that divides them and where it's placed.
Man, don't play the EULCS, you'll never get this right.
Oh, man. Oh.
A is in 1/5 of all games. So despite the pick,
yes.
TDK got Dragon number 2. Now these teams are equal at turret destruction. Dragon 3, which is next for either team, will be move speed, which is actually a big freaking deal in poke comps. 4,000 gold lead seems to not mean too much. Xerath just hit the power spike of Void Staff, which is pretty scary, and a QSS has come in now for Teaser. So they can deal with some of the engages from Varus and Sona a little bit better here.
So TSD can get rid of Louis and Kyle and possibly just avoid some of the damage from Kez. They'll be in a good spot, but they have to find a way to deal with Seraph. This Mundo, despite being very tanky, it's deceptive because he also has a lot of power, but they're not going to be able to do anything to Kez right there.
They don't want this one. Invisibles now is actually caught on the side, but no one's going to chase it. Smoothie flashes and catches too. They got Arc second and Big Ol' Ron, but the re-engage comes in. Izingi forced to flash out, but Big Ol' Ron still wants to fight. He goes for Lewis GG, but there's not enough damage coming through. It should be a double kill to the back line, and in fact it is. The jungler and top liner die. And Louis GG, the only casualty back, but Seraph wants to keep on going. It is a 4 versus 3. Seraph takes a big chunk out, and Kez gets the 3rd kill of the fight. Now Teaser and Indivisible have nowhere to go. Can they kite this out? They're trying to. And he gets a bit of damage back, and Timbers is helping, but can't do enough. Smoothie will fall. Teaser still trying to kite, but the Rend is on cooldown. He actually can't do much damage.
Dodge it all?
Kyle flashes in, can't dodge too much, still trying to get away, but the auto attacks are too much. Muramana helps quite a bit. 3-2 that fight overall.
That must be so frustrating for a Kalista player when there's that many heals. You hit your Rend and it doesn't kill them because they just got healed, so you don't get the reset on it either.
Rend is more than 1/3 of Hurricane Kalista's damage. If you miss the cooldown reset on that, Izingi though jumps in hard on Kez, gets the blue smite. The heal from Kez keeps him alive for a little bit longer, but there are some tunnels. Goes up on towards Kez, tries to outplay the pounce, and he misclicks out of his own tunnel. Oh, Izingi. Oh no. You didn't want that. You didn't want that, Izingi.
Just going to check it out on the scuttle crab afterwards. But Izingi gets caught here, and he has to back up. He's completely out of this fight now. But then he decides, I have to go back in to get back on Louis. It does work because Arc Second throws out his ultimate right as he knocks him up. So it locks up Louis. They get that kill. And now this becomes about Teaser because Arc Second immediately gets hit by a Kez spear, and it's so hard to see these particles flying through so many different things. There's so much particle noise happening in these fights, and you have to look for key things like shock blasts, like Nidalee javelins. It is very difficult to differentiate them in the heat of the moment. So Teaser is doing a really good job here of dodging a lot of poke, dodging spears, and he could almost run away with this fight, except for the heals that keep coming out from Kez and were coming out from Sona at the start.
He actually managed to get his Rend cooldown back twice. The cooldown did come back up for him, but not enough happened there. Seraph going to get chased down. I don't know if they can really kill Buddha, but they're going to sure try. Teaser. But oh my god, Teaser loses almost all of his health. I don't know if you really want to keep fighting this battle anymore. Javelins come in. TSD do in fact turn tail and run.
Abort.
Kyle, though, a couple hundred damage there. Okay. Bloodthirster will heal Teaser up on this Raptor camp. He's at half now. Maybe TSD can keep up in this one, but they're starting to bleed kills away.
He probably still has to back now, too, or look for even more HP, because if you are below anything but 100%, you saw there, he's just going to die if he eats 2 skill shots.
And now turret number 7 goes down. TDK have knocked down mid tier 2 for all the poke they did to Teaser. Was unable to fight there. Louis GG, though, taking a lot of pain. There's the shots. Arc Second from downtown grabs another. This Xerath still doing work. 5, 2, and 3 for him. But Big Ol' Ron looking now for the TP flank. It is a 5v4. Indivisible does have flash. Dodges a shock blast, but the acceleration gate gets the team out.
Yeah, the acceleration gate is really their disengage tool. And the fact they were all grouped up for it was really good.
They might try to
now, you have to dodge all these spears. They're basically going to throw skill shot, high damage poke at you from 2 to 3 directions and wait for an engage.
They flashed on Seraph. Kez hopped away in time.
Ugh.
I'm not going to do anything for it.
This game's going to kill me, by the way, because every time I see a spear almost hit somebody, my heart's like, ah, it's going to hit. And then that happens with Shock Blast 2 and also Xerath Qs and Xerath Rs. This is a ridiculous game right now. And Varus Qs. So
much siege warfare here. And what's surprising to me is how well Arc Second plays Xerath. You'd think with a name like Arc Second, he'd be better at shorter length champions. And yet, he's playing the longest range mage in the game.
His range is definitely longer than an arc second.
Unless the circle is gigantic.
Yeah.
The second is, right, it's an angle, right? So
yeah.
It's a percentage of the circle. So maybe TSM Darkness had the biggest circle in the world.
Maybe that's how he lobs his skill shots in an arc second at the person. Like, if you turn it sideways,
oh, okay,
the angle over.
No,
like his right of the arcane is almost an arc second.
That makes sense. Okay, now I got you. Hey, that is how it works over.
Boom! You just gotta qualify everything, and then it makes sense.
I mean, it's a percentage of some number. You just pick a big enough number, and it works out, I guess.
Hey. Not gonna question it. They have this large wave top from TSD, and TDK, this is the first dragon that they're actually able to get in on without a fight beforehand, and that gives them the movement speed.
They do.
We talked about it. Movement speed is extremely important when you're dodging skill shots. It's League 101.
It is a real big deal. So that happens. Top lane is going to get cleaned up a little bit late by Seraph, but that's fine. He wanted to be with his team for the dragon attempt, and a good choice to be there. Yeah, 286 minions. He's actually getting a lot of the split push farm. He's going to be the highest minion killer in this game, which is actually, I think, a very smart choice by TDK, because that guy's going to continue to be unkillable. I actually don't know if he wants to go for a Thornmail or a Sunfire next.
Oh man, both seem
I don't know
like
what should be better against TSM.
They're both delicious options.
Oh, the dragon again, Louis GG again, just the way to catch the back line. Azingi will retreat nice and safe. Seraph is there dealing damage as he can, but Big ol' Ron maybe overextended, but Teaser gonna chase through. He's trying to ignore Seraph, and he looks for Kyle. The Ren gets popped. They get the auto attacks. They kill him in midair. There's a 2-for-2 overall. Seraph doing a lot of work in the back line. Kaz helping, trying to knock down Big ol' Ron. Arc second getting supported though by Teaser, and Seraph's ult has finally timed out, but he flashed briefcases, and Teaser is still trying to run. He only lifesteals so much against his armor stack. He dodges another briefcase, but Sona Smoothie continues to carry this team on his back. The number of kills got to be like 5 by now. And it's a 3-2 in advantage for TDK.
Both these supports hitting for Banner of Command for Smoothie. That's how much he's picked up for his team in terms of kills. His participation's really high too.
Yeah.
Oh, these skill shots are absolutely crazy.
They're wearing you down.
This is a great game in terms of just watching it and watching everybody react to this. Azingi,
I love this.
Like they just go in, get the back line, ignore Seraph, just go past him, go for Kyle. Azingi's like, okay, I gotta ignore him, but Azingi can't get out. Azingi ends up dropping later on, and now get on Kyle, take out Kyle. Kez is still a poke threat though. This is a crazy, just all over the place fight, and the poke comp didn't go too hard too early. Even though Louis taken off the field, it's a 4-on-5 for the rest of it. And TDK still managed to pick up the kill advantage 3-2.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of spears in Mundo right there. He's, I can't even see.
That would do like 8% of his health, by the way. It wouldn't be nearly enough. Arc second, you know what? He tries to poke again with the ulti, but they're all full health and Sona's there, so gotta keep those guys alive just fine. By the way, Banner of Command is built out of Aegis, so Smoothie is giving his team some magic resist. If he's around in the fight, he'll make them more durable against Seraph. Also, thinking about all this ability power, sort of long-range poke damage, you can hide behind Banner of Commanded minions. Not that it'll matter for like anything these guys do, but theoretically, it would be good against Nidalee, I guess. That would be the only champion it would actually affect.
It's a Thornmail for Mundo.
Okay.
This is probably Seraph's favorite game ever. He just gets to run around and do anything. He's really just RPing Mundo at this point.
Goes where he pleases.
He's
just like a PvE game. Everything just feels like minions to him.
Yeah. Even the enemy champion.
Even turrets feel like minions to Dr. Mundo. He's got like 300 armor right now.
I'm going to have to test him for illegal substances after this, because I think he might be on some
The syringe is still sticking out of his neck right now. You realize, like, it's very obvious he's on something.
Not in this skin, is it? I don't think it is.
Shh. Go with the joke, Aiden. Come on.
What's in the briefcase?
It's yes and, Aiden.
Oh, fine. Yeah, no, he's hiding it very well this game. It's definitely in his phone. He's, like, disguised it on his shoulder.
Yeah. It's actually into his ear canal. That's how he's getting the drug injections.
Oh, wow.
That's why he never puts it down.
It's a constant thing. It's like an IV drip.
Or he's done some new technology where like sound can actually like enhance your performances.
Enhance your brain.
Or something.
He has sound waves stimulating his brain.
Yes.
He's using more of his muscles. They're massaging him constantly with the vibrations, so he's getting larger.
You're going all out about this one. How is you making jokes? You're like trying to figure out the science behind it. That is more than I was willing to
It's like one of those things that electrocutes your abs, and then you get You get a 6-pack.
I've heard actually really bad things about those.
Yeah.
They like hurt a lot apparently.
They probably don't work. Somebody's gotten one before though.
I mean, the ads still exist. They must still be in business somehow.
And Shake Weight's still in business too. But anyway, we're in TSD trying to...
Well, Baron's on the table.
Yes, Baron is on the table. They're trying to clear out their jungle. They're trying to get something for this. And really, it's been a stalemate. Both teams are waiting for the engages. And the just misposition or the poke landing, and Indivisible takes half his HP. That might be TDK's sign that they can get another ward down. Not do the Baron, they're going to get another ward down. Let's not get too overambitious.
Yeah. Well, I think they do need to start, because they have this unkillable Mundo, who actually can be chased around the map and still not die. You leverage Seraph. Like, it's not like they need to hard engage, right? Like, it's not like him being around is going to stop Annie from going in. Leverage his split push, make him create pressure. Use that to get the deep wards that make your opponents able to face check. If you make them face check at a Verisol, you die and the team fight ends. So you use the Mundo to give you so much map pressure that you get wards in front of whatever objective you care about, and then use that to close the game out. TDK, though, not relying on that just yet themselves. But I feel like just the virtue of Mundo existing here gives TDK a big edge.
So just from champion select right there, they're like, Mundo, great for what we want to do. Yeah, oh yeah. The fact that they made it out of the laning phase without being decimated, came back, slingshotted forward.
Oh god. Oh god.
Boo, boo.
Dodge it! That was almost GG for Louis.
That'll be back up for in 76 seconds. He's fairly low, but look at that. Immediately healed back up by everybody. And they're starting it.
Oh, wow.
Callista on this Baron is really good. They'll be able to rend it and burst it down from 2K, but can they even get to that point? Kyle was trying to do that 4th dragon for his team. He goes back to it.
He's going to stay. Yeah, look, the poke is enough by TDK. They've got enough wards here that Kyle will get dragon number 3 for his team, I believe. No. That's 4 for TDK,
that's
right?
4. The thing at the top needs to be updated.
Yeah, TDK did get dragon 3 earlier. This is number 4. That's minion killing power, which means at 48-42, dragon 5 is on the table for TDK. So you guys know that overlay is back. We're going to fix that for you in a second. There we go. 4 dragons to 2. TSD still do not have the move speed buff, which actually matters in this game. You normally ignore dragon buffs for large percentages of it. Not in this case here. The poke back and forth, but Kyle's pushing out mid. This has to be reacted to.
They have to go. There's the go
that
button.
cleaver was massive. There's no engage available for Annie.
Trying to disengage.
The chain lands as well. Big ol' Run, not the best target, but Zingy lost a whole lot of health. But in comes Annie, 2-man stun. They look for Kyle. There's the knockup. Big ol' Run is already dead, and TSD keeps trying, but oh my god, teaser trades. TSD lose 3-2 back into the side. Invisible goes down, but Seraph and Louis will not be stopped. 3 members still alive for TDK.
You just can't do anything about this Mundo at this point in the game with this composition. You don't even have an AD carry that crits.
That's true.
There's no way to bust this tank. He does have Last Whisper, but it doesn't matter. They're going to just barrel down. This is the game right here for TDK.
Wow, this game back and forth so close for 43 minutes straight in that one team fight. Broke it all. Seraph happy to tank the turret. That's going to be a 2-0 week for TDK. Right now, they are in sole possession of 3rd place.
TDK had a rough week last week, starting out 0-2. But they come back this week, 2-0 TSM Darkness, and they do it with the same composition, just Varus for Caitlyn. That's it.
Sure. Add on a Varus. And to be fair, he got picked on a lot.
Yeah, he did.
I like Varus. I don't think it actually worked very well in this game because he was the only, like, really catchable champion on that roster, and he got punished for 8 deaths. He was more than a third of his team's deaths on the AD carry for Louis GG. So I actually would have liked to see him play that Caitlyn just to be safer as a champion, or even safer just to help his team like reposition and like pick the fights better, right? I think that would actually work really well also. But all that said, TDK, a well-played game. Seraph so far doing quite nicely in the Challenger Series, at least this week. His Mundo's been pretty good. He's been allowed to farm up and be that unkillable nightmare that TSD have been unable to deal with. So good on Seraph, good on TDK. 2-2 now. Yeah,
and that's really what they needed this week, because last week was all over the place. You said
to the enemy, right?
Yeah, you said that they didn't even work on their champion select. That they were kind of like, we're just going to pick whatever, and they didn't think about it coming into it. You can see once they put some thought into their compositions, they don't even have to put too much more thought into it if they just get the same comp again.
Yeah, and they realized that picking Dr. Mundo would be a good choice for them. Dr. Mundo as well as Jace. Again, they were a little bit, I asked their support, like, why didn't you play Jace last time with Kyle? He's kind of good at the champion. And he's like, I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't in my hands. This time, they made the right choice. They picked up a champion who's known for maining one champion. No one else plays Jace. I don't care that no one else plays Jace. He plays Jace. They play a poke comp around him. Kyle does real well. Like, make your own meta, guys. If you're good at the champion, play it. Make that thing happen. TSD, we're given Fiddlesticks both times, played it neither. Zingy, to be fair, had a pretty good game, but I still would like to see them play Fiddlesticks comp.
I mean, Fiddlesticks, if he could even get to that back line, would just shred everybody instantaneously. But also, you were talking about Kyle with that Jace.
Yeah.
Once that Jace gets to the point where he can shred turrets, he's causing constant pressure on that mid lane. He's like, I'm turning to the left, throwing an acceleration gate shock blast at the fight, and then I'm just going to continue shoving mid. They engage us, and then Mundo's there to just tank everything and make them rethink. The cleaver, like you talked about, was really huge. It stunted that engage. They couldn't run into the back line, and then they were like, okay, abort, but Mundo keeps you close to him. He's very sticky. He keeps landing that.
One really big clutch cleaver from Seraph, also TSD. I would say their overall flaw was focusing too hard on neutral objectives, giving up lane pressure for that, allowing themselves to be poked at and played because of that. Now, guys, we're going to take a quick break, but when he returned, Nintendude makes his live broadcast return to Team Fusion. But will it be enough to stop the streaking enemy esports who are 3-0? Find out after these fat beats.